Hello everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome back to my channel and another paper crafting video tutorial. Today we're going to be talking all about getting better soon or soup style cards with the Hero Arts Hero Studio December 2025 release, beginning with this amazing background cling stamp. You can see I've also pre-die cut my components from, you guessed it, the fancy die of the month, because I am a huge fan of die cutting, so I love their fancy dies. But we're going to ink up our background stamp, which I also love the bold prints background stamps from Hero Arts. I've used a little Mocha Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated ink with the Spellbinders Truffle cardstock for a tone-on-tone background. I always love a good tone-on-tone. After that, I decided, you guessed it, that we need some text stamping over the top to add a little additional interest. Using one of my favorite, these are those texture backgrounds from Hero Arts, I am going to ink this up with white pigment ink, and I decided to kind of do a slightly staggered all over design down the center. So actually nothing is going off the edge of the card in this case, and it's just going to kind of be, like I said, slightly offset all the way down. So about 4 times there is perfect. A lot of this does get covered up, so you're just going to see hints of it back around those larger die cut pieces. Also from my stash, I pulled out the Argyle background from Hero Arts, and I'm inking it up with Brick Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated ink, and I've got some Pomegranate Spellbinders cardstock that I'm going to ink up. We're creating a napkin for our cute little soup scene here. Again, tone on tone, so it doesn't detract and take away from the rest of the elements. And then I'm just grabbing a Hero Arts square infinity die and die cutting out a piece of that Argyle background for our cute little patterned napkin. Now this isn't exactly made to work with this. I think it's made more to work with the soup stock pot from the card kit of the month, but I thought it looked great in the spoon for my die cut, so I added that little bit of detail. And then I'm also taking another piece of truffle cardstock, which is the background color of my card, inking up 2 of the sentiments from the card kit of the month stamp set, You're Super and Feel Better Fast, inking those with clear embossing ink. Yes, and embossing with cream embossing powder. I picked cream instead of white. It's a little bit softer and it really matches the alabaster cardstock of my saltine crackers and all of the wonderful little alphabet noodles in our soup. After that, I'm just going to heat set this, buff away any of that excess powder, and we'll set that aside. Once we have all of our components, it is time to put everything together. The components of this card are very simple today. However, the magic of this card is the little details. As always, little details make such a big difference in your card making. So that's going to be things like inking the edges, adding dimension, and in the case of the hands that are holding our soup bowl, we are going to color those in with 2 Olo markers. That's it. Nothing crazy at all. It's going to be very, very simple. So I did go around the edges of my napkin with Brick, but then I decided to go around with the cocoa instead. I think I said mocha earlier. I apologize. It's cocoa ink. And I like that a little better. Red is notoriously bad about kind of not blending in great if you use red on red. I'm also going to take that mocha over the cinnamon ink. This is the color I chose for my tomato soup. I wanted it to, look kind of dark, and I felt like the cinnamon worked well. I decided to pick the Cosmic Sky cardstock. All of these cardstocks are Spellbinders, by the way, and I love the dark blue bowl against all of these beautiful neutrals, and of course the red napkin. We're going to glue the bowl shape in place over our tomato soup that we have made, just like so. And then for the rest of the soup, I used terracotta for the little swirls that go in the soup, and then of course alabaster for all of our little alphabets. So our spoon is some brushed silver cardstock, and then the hands, I started with chiffon cardstock. It makes the blending a lot easier, but you could easily start with white and totally build your color, or even a different color of cardstock and build your color depending on the skin tone that you want to create. Now, just briefly, I thought, oh, I'm just going to ink blend gingerbread ink on these. And I was quickly, even though I had intended to color the whole time. Sometimes though, you know how your mind is like, this would be easier. Let's try this. No, don't do that. No, this was actually super easy. So you'll notice I'm going in with OR 7.2 and adding the darkest color. Then I'm going to take OR 7.1 and I'm going to color, I blended it out first, but then I was like, no, just color the whole thing. So it really gives great coverage very quickly. And instantly you can see how much more realistic this makes the hands look. One of the great things about doing this too, there are nails on both of the hand, which was a great opportunity if you want to paint the nails. And of course I did with my favorite paint, my favorite nail polish color, which is red. Shocking, I know. And I am going to then just glue the one hand holding the spoon, and I'm going to clamp that with my tweezers and let that sit for a minute while I work on the second hand. Both are colored exactly the same. And again, very quick and easy coloring, but it makes a huge difference in the finished card. We'll spin that around there on our Glassboard Studio glass mat. And I see I got a huge smudge of ink right on the hand. My fingers must have been kind of dirty. So I colored over it to help disguise it a little bit, but we're just gonna roll with it. It happens. Sometimes if it's bad enough, I'll re-die cut, but I think in this instance, we're gonna make it work. One of the things I love about the December Hero Studio kits is that we always need get well soon cards. As much as we wish that we didn't have to, there are always those times that we really do need those. And so it's kind of nice to have some on hand so that you just have them to send when needed. The saltine crackers are probably my favorite part of this card set or this release for December. I think they're hilarious. Well, they're not hilarious, but look how realistic they are. They're so cute. I'm very gently adding whatever ink is left on my blending brush from using gingerbread ink for actually a different project. I didn't even re-ink it here just to give them a little coloring and that depth and dimension. But what's great about that is it's not a ton of ink, so it just kind of gently adds a little bit of that on. And then of course adding a little bit of mocha into my swirls just so they're not so stark and plain. The little soup blob here, that's what I'm going to call it. And then we're going to grab some pine ink, and for our little parsley or cilantro sprigs, I'm not exactly sure what herb these are supposed to be, but one of those is my assumption. We're going to just give those a little shading as well. Now that we have everything, let's pull this all together. It goes together pretty quickly. So I have going to put foam adhesive on the back of the bowl. We're going to be popping up the bowl and the hands on our card, but the napkin we're going to glue right to the background. That way it gives a little bit of dimension, more like the bowl is dimensional, if that makes sense. Because the bowl wouldn't be, you know, flat-ish like a plate. And that's going to help it kind of be popped up just a little bit. And then of course we want to pop up the hands. So I'm going to kind of see how much foam adhesive I'm going to need for those hands, so I'm not having to cut loads of it off. And originally I thought I would glue the soup spoon directly to the bowl, but you will see, luckily I was like, uh-oh, I probably better place the swirls and the alphabet before I put this down. And I do end up putting a foam adhesive square back behind this so that it has a little more dimension as well. And I really like that. So I've added the swirls. We're going to add the soup in our spoon. We're going to then put our little alphabet pieces all over in the soup. Really, these probably should all be put in place before gluing anything like the spoon down on top. I have loads of these little alphabet pieces, and I didn't even use them all. There is an entire little alphabet. So if you want to customize a sentiment and not use one of the greetings in the card kit of the month, there's also a thank you and maybe a love you. I can't remember what the other one is, but they're all super cute. Of course, I put get well soon right in the spoon. That isn't going to be the main sentiment on my card, but I do like how it reinforces the theme. So there's that foam square back behind, and it does help give that added little bit of dimension. And I see I missed a little alphabet with my inking, so I grabbed that really quick, and we're going to finish off our bowl. So then we're going to have a couple of saltine crackers hanging out the top edge of our bowl, just like so. And then the rest are going to be on our napkin. We're also going to tuck our little, let's say it's parsley. We're going to tuck our parsley around our crackers. I like the little pop of color. I really do. I was trying to decide where I wanted to put this, and ultimately I do like things grouped, and I felt like scattering it would be just a little too random. So we're going to have the rest of our crackers right here, just kind of like you would. And then we're going to have that little blob off the edge of the bowl, like it's spilling out or it's dripped off the spoon. And then we're going to put the other hand in place. Again, trying to figure out the best placement for our foam adhesive. The final thing that we're going to do after we get the hand in place is, of course, flip this whole panel over and trim off anything hanging off the edge. So that's going to be parts of the spoon and the arms, but you're not going to lose anything there. That's really going to just make it a little more cohesive. So I'm just taking my scissors and snipping off anything hanging off the edge. Ah, look how cute. Okay, let's grab the coordinating dies for your super and Feel Better Fast. We're going to put some thin foam adhesive strips on the back of both of these. Oops, I need to put your super down first. So let's pivot real fast and do that. And that is going to finish off our card. We'll glue this whole panel to a top fold white card base, and this Get Well Soon card is all finished. Thank you guys so much for joining me today for this Get Well Soon card featuring the Hero Arts Hero Studio December 2025 clubs. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining me today. I truly love sharing creativity with this amazing community of crafters. A special thank you goes out to my wonderful Patreon members. I appreciate you all so much. If you'd like to join us on Patreon, you'll find the link in the video description below. Patreon is a private community where you can support more of what I do and enjoy exclusive content, behind the scenes updates, and extra perks. There's something for everyone, and we'd love to have you join our growing community. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.